So coming up now is Sue Weston. She's the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Industry, Innovation and Science. Sue holds a Bachelor of Science, which helps her with numerous roles, which includes responsibility for areas such as Questacon, the National Assessments and Measurement Institute, the Australian Astronomical Observatory, and also is responsible for the policy development for growing manufacturing within Australia. Now, where is Sue though? Ah, there you are. Great. I just saw Katrina running out. So please welcome Sue to the stage. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks very much. Emeritus Professor Jim Piper, AM, President of Science and Technology Australia, Katrina Jackson, Chief Executive Officer of Science and Technology Australia, and colleagues. I'd like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Thank you very much for the invitation to speak to you this morning. And I've been asked to speak to you about the National Innovation and Science Agenda and what it means for you. I'd suggest the National Innovation and Science Agenda poses a challenge to all of us. When the government says it's never been a more exciting time to be an Australian, it's a call to action. This is because the National Innovation and Science Agenda demands a cohesive and cooperative approach to remaking Australia as a leading innovation nation. It's aimed at building a new economic boom for Australia, one that's sustainable and sustained, an ideas boom. Some of you will know that much of the last year was spent in consultation mode. Government itself, officials, and others such as the Chief Scientist were asking people, among them business, researchers, technologists, and students, for their vision for science in Australia. There were over 1,000 conversations and more than 100 written responses received. And there were many common threads: science funding, science infrastructure, science evaluation, science and business collaboration, and women in science. Comments back from the consultation were conclusive. Nurturing our entire pool of STEM talent is crucial to supporting a more innovative, inclusive, and prosperous economy. For science to flourish in the future and for us to be truly competitive, we have to address this. Among other initiatives, the National Innovation and Science Agenda responds to this feedback. The feedback and reality is also that Australia is not performing in industry and research collaboration. In fact, Australia's rate of collaboration between industry and researchers is currently the lowest in the OECD. Australian businesses don't have as much internal research expertise as key comparative countries either. At 43%, Australia's proportion of researchers employed in business is significantly lower than countries such as Germany at 56%, South Korea at 79%, and Israel at 84%. There's also insufficient access to early stage capital for many startups. School students' math skills are falling, and government is following on innovation and not leading. Fortunately, despite these not-so-stellar statistics about our performance, Australia has some really strong building blocks for success. We have strong economic fundamentals and a stable investment climate, direct access to markets in Asia and the world's economic engine room, an excellent global reputation for the quality of our goods and services, and some of the world's highest quality scientific research organisations in the world. The Australian government laid the foundation blocks for the National Innovation and Science Agenda with its Industry, Innovation and Competitiveness Agenda in October 2014, with its Boosting Commercial Returns from Research strategy. Key measures to foster innovation and growth then included the industry growth centres, working with strategic sectors, reforming employee share schemes to allow startups to attract world-leading staff, the Entrepreneurs Program, working with businesses to build entrepreneurship and commercialise new ideas, and promoting STEM skills through reforming the Australian curriculum. The National Innovation and Science Agenda recognises the need for more complementary work to be done. I'm sure you're aware of the agenda's pillars, the 4 pillars. These are culture and capital, collaboration, talent and skills, and the government as an exemplar. The first of these, culture and capital, recognises the need for a move in Australia's mindset so that Australians learn to embrace risk, learn from mistakes, be more ambitious and experiment. We need to invest more in high-risk early-stage firms. Research underpinning the agenda shows that Australians in general believe we need a cultural change, and the startup community predominantly believes the environment in Australia has not been supportive of innovation and that we lag behind other countries. It also shows that business can find more reasons not to innovate than to innovate. The National Innovation and Science Agenda will help us make this cultural change by ensuring we align our tax system and business laws with a culture of entrepreneurship and innovation. It envisages tax breaks for early-stage investors, such as angel investors in innovative startups, and new tax offsets for investments in venture capital funds. The agenda also removes the bias against business that innovate by reforming insolvency laws that currently stigmatise business failure, and by allowing businesses to access tax losses through meeting a similar business test if they've changed their business activities. Under the Culture and Capital pillar, Australia will also be co-investing in promising ideas through the $200 million CSIRO Innovation Fund and a $250 million co-investment in a new biomedical translation fund. The second pillar of the National Innovation and Science Agenda is collaboration. And I mentioned the rather grim statistics about collaboration earlier. The agenda highlights that businesses that collaborate with researchers and research organisations are 3 times more likely to experience productivity growth and to improve sales and activity. The collaboration pillar is as much about the viability of Australian businesses as it is about ensuring great research makes it out of the laboratory. Universities, startups and industry can fuel the ideas boom by working together like never before. The largest element of the agenda in dollar terms is the provision of long-term funding certainty for cutting-edge national research infrastructure to ensure research jobs stay in Australia and Australia retains the capability to be at the forefront of global discoveries. Over the next 10 years, the National Collaborative Research Infrastructure will receive $1.5 billion. There'll be $520 million for the Australian synchrotron and $290 million for the Square Kilometre Array. The Chief Scientist, Alan Finkel, has also been tasked with identifying national research infrastructure capability needs to inform where funding is required in future years. The agenda will streamline and refocus a greater proportion of research block grants towards collaboration. An additional $127 million over the forward estimates has been provided for research block grants. The Australian Research Council will be piloting in 2017 clear and transparent measures of non-academic impact and industry engagement when assessing university research performance, with these measures to be fully implemented in 2018. A steering committee comprising leading experts from the industry, higher education and government sectors will have a central role in the development of the new assessment system. Researchers will also be connected to more small and medium businesses by expanding the Research Connections program, now known as Innovation Connections. and opening up Australian Research Council linkage projects to continuous applications to fast-track decisions on collaborative research grants. A new round of the Cooperative Research Centre program was also opened last month. There'll be a global innovation strategy, with landing pads already announced in Tel Aviv and Silicon Valley to help Australian entrepreneurs, and funding for Australian collaborations with international research industry clusters, for example, the Fraunhofer Institutes in Germany. There'll be a funding to boost Australia's world-class capability in quantum computing research. The National Innovation and Science Agenda's third pillar, talent and skills, will power our innovative capacity by investing in people and building our talent and skills pool. The government will start with our youngest students, investing $48 million in fostering a passion for STEM in the next generation, and a further $13 million in expanding STEM opportunities for women. This will include encouraging school students to participate in international competitions, and by introducing youth prizes in the prestigious Prime Minister's Prizes for Science, and engaging preschoolers with fun experiments, inquiry and play-based apps focused on STEM concepts, and backing our communities with events such as the National Science Week. The $13 million over 5 years for STEM opportunities for women is aimed to address why there is only 13% of female undergraduates studying STEM, and why female STEM postgraduate students comprise just 8% of the cohort. Initiatives to encourage more women to choose and remain in STEM careers will expand the Science in Australia Gender Equality Pilot to more Australian science and research institutes, enable new initiatives under the very effective Male Champions of Change project that promotes gender equality in organisations and the community, and facilitating partnering with the private sector on initiatives to celebrate female STEM role models and foster interest in STEM amongst women and girls. Under this pillar, the government is also investing $51 million to help young Australians gain digital technology skills. Years 5s and 7s will learn coding through online computer challenges. There'll be upskilling of teachers to implement digital technologies curriculum, and targeted ICT and STEM programs such as summer schools for years 9 and 10 to be supported. There'll also be a new entrepreneur's visa and seeking out talented individuals to come to Australia. The final pillar is government as an exemplar. We're acutely aware that the government has lagged behind the private sector in innovation. The government is looking to change how it delivers services, to better deliver services for less cost, will become more innovative, and will make more data openly available. Government will also overhaul the way we buy technology and seek digital solutions to give startups and small businesses a larger slice of the pie. Innovation and science have been placed at the centre of the government, with a new Innovation and Science Committee of Cabinet and a new proposed statutory board, Innovation and Science Australia, supported by a CEO. The board will take a coordinated view of policies that affect innovation and ensure that we implement this agenda so that Australia builds a stronger and more entrepreneurial economy. A crucial role for the board will be to develop a 5-year plan for investment in science, research and innovation. To conclude, the breadth of the National Innovation and Science Agenda is quite unprecedented in Australia. I would encourage you to have a look at innovation.gov.au for information on specific measures, particularly the events calendar and the social feeds. One of the key messages when the agenda was launched back in December was that we need to have a conversation about innovation. And I think that conversation is ticking over quite nicely now. Thanks very much.